Oh, uh-oh. All right, so we may have a couple more issues here we need to deal with there, Robert.
What you got, buddy?
So this, I know being 30, 40-year-old wiring that has been replaced, but I am looking at maybe some rat damage and looks like maybe some bare spots in the wire. So looks like we're gonna have to, yes, let me show you guys what we got here. You can see where that insulation has been chewed up. I don't know, maybe I'll just let Robert pull this part down.
Look at it for me first to make sure continuity's running through it.
No, let's absolutely take a minute, and we're gonna show y'all how to fix how to check old wiring and what we'll do to try and get around this, because we definitely don't want anybody getting all shocked and knocked off the ladder. All right, everybody, so when this house was wired, I guess I think it's been around 85, 90. Somebody started doing some renovation work. The way they ran the wiring, not really to my liking, as well as I'm not going to reach up here and touch it because the wiring is still on, or the power is still on. But there's places you can see rats have chewed through the insulation, and it's on up there. I'll show you once I go turn it off. So I've got my multimeter, and I'm gonna go up. I'm gonna turn off the breakers. I'm gonna go through this door to the breaker box, and when Robert yells that this light is off, thinking that should be the power, but I'm not gonna believe it. So I'll show you guys how to use a multimeter and go through the insulation safely to check your power. Once we know all the power's off to all these wires, which probably off one circuit, but once I know it's all off, then we'll go over rerouting and how to fix all this stuff safely and make sure it's good to go. Don't have to worry about starting a fire, because that's how, like, honestly, this is how a lot of fires start in old houses. Stuff was rewired 30, 40 years ago. Rats get up, squirrels chew through the insulation, like a piece of insulation like this. You can see that's why a rat's nest crosses over two of the power wires, creates heat, and you can see this like old newspaper. Like, it would not take much for this to go up in smoke. So as soon as that gets heat on it, it goes up. This old cabin being longleaf pine, most of it's what you call fat lighter. It's used to start fires. That's what happens to a lot of old pine trees as they age. So if a fire ever started in this old house, probably be a matter of minutes. Probably wouldn't even have time to call a fire department. They definitely wouldn't have time to even get out here. So I want to try and get this thing as safe as possible. All right. So yes.
Still got light.
Nope.
Still got light. Nope, no light.
All right, guys, so here's where I was telling y'all, we saw it's actually not through both sets of insulation. So on this wire, there's an outer insulation, inner insulation. Now this should go, I had Robert check when the light goes off, so I've got my multimeter. All of them are a little bit different, but if you're working on an old house, any multimeter from anywhere, this little squiggly line right here with a V, that's going to be your AC, your alternating current volts. So anytime you're checking anything on a house, it's going to be the squiggly line. If you're trying to check power on a car, it's going to be a straight line and a dotted line. That's going to be your DC, your direct current. All right, that's Mr. Nikola Tesla's brainchild. AC volts, that's Thomas Edison's brainchild. Thomas Edison just had more powerful, better friends, and Nikolai was ahead of his time. That's a story for another day. I love that part of history. So we already know that we've already got the light off. What you can do to test this, you just got to make sure you can safely push this, or your you can safely push your leads in through the wire, through the insulation, to check and see if you have any voltage. That's why it's got the little points on it. Right, so I'm not reading any voltage here. That's good to go. Now you can see, are you able to see that on the screen, the different colors in here, Robert? All right, you've got black, and then there's a bare copper wire and a white. So anytime you're testing AC power, you're gonna put your red lead on your black wire. Your black wire should always be the one that has power. Your white, on a modern house, your white wire is going to be your neutral wire, and the solid copper, not insulated wire, is going to be your ground wire. This wire comes up, we know this one's dead, it goes down. Somehow this wire goes to the outside light here and then into the living room. I always knew it was kind of funky, whoever did the wiring. Not huge friends with them at the moment. So that goes down a different way, and then there's this wire right here that looks like it goes to the upstairs bedroom. I doubt it's on the same circuit. I'm going to check and see right here. Like I said, these things have points on them for a reason, so that you kind of poke through the insulation without tearing it up. Start beat. All right. So it beeped. It's showing 13 volts right now, which means if it showed 13 volts, I'm probably not all the way through the insulation. There's power on that wire. All right, so this power is energized, or this wire is energized. I know that goes up to my daughter's bedroom, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go, actually I'm gonna leave that one alone. This is one we're worried about right now. I know there's no power here. We can finish pulling the ceiling down, which will make it easier to get in here. Like anytime you're doing wiring, if you're renovating an old house, don't leave a bunch of extra wire. That's just sloppy. And I mean, all this extra wire, all it does is scream for a rat to chew it up or problems. All right, so I always take extra precautions with electricity. Like Robert saw the light go off here when I turned it off. So he saw the light go out. I double, triple, quadruple check everything. So I'm gonna throw my multimeter back in here and go ahead and don't take it for granted. It takes literally 5 seconds, less, 2 seconds to throw your multimeter back up. House's wiring, double, triple, quadruple check your power. 5 seconds is definitely worth your life. All right, guys, so we got to start cleaning up a little bit of this mess with the wiring here. Like I said before, I know I turned this breaker off, but you never know when you might accidentally hit the wrong breaker and not turned it off. So before you ever start grabbing wires, go ahead and check your power. So this switch is no good, and really I don't need power going to where the switch goes anyway right now. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to screw this back in right here, and then we're going to just put wire nuts on it, and a cover, just to keep everything nice and safe. Always watch your wiring. Make sure you don't hook anything up wrong. All right, I'll use my wire nuts. Now, whenever you hook up wire nuts, twist them. Always give a good little tug on them before you assume you're finished, to make sure they're good to go. And I am really doing a no-no if you're doing a job that you're finishing up, you know you're not going to be coming back to it. But since I'm just trying to get exposed wires out of the way, you don't really want to use different color wire nuts. You need to be using the correct color for whatever gauge wire you're using. But this is going to be getting patched up in the next day or two. All right, so this is one that goes to this light that was up here. Now this light is light itself and the inside. Somebody just twisted the wires back together and didn't come back and fix it. So I'm gonna test again. All right. Now I know this is good now, and this is the wires that when we were up here, you can see right here where some rats or something got in here and started eating the wiring down, the insulation down. So a good bit of actual exposed wire, which you never want unless you just prefer your house burning down. So what I'm going to do, there you go, you can see copper. All right, looks like about right here. Sorry about that. Now you don't want to just cut the end and let it go, because you can see the exposed copper here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take and peel back just a little bit of this white. Now that your black wire is going to be your power wire. You don't have to worry too much about the insulation or the exposed copper on your ground or your neutral. They do not have power to them. They do, you have bigger problems in your wiring. So I've moved that power wire down, and I'm just going to take some electrical tape, tape it up. All right, then I'm gonna go up here and find a fairly secure spot. That looks like one right there. All right, on that nail. And again, even though I'm leaving this off, I know there's no power to it. I don't want to take any chances on somebody turning it on and it falling down. I want to take me a little loop right there, secure this. Back in my hole. All right, and now, like I said, that's not a permanent fix, so don't take that for being a permanent fix. I just wanted to, really with this, I'll be showing you not much how-to wiring, because that's something that, unless you really know what you're doing with, you want to get a certified electrician. I just want to show, if you were renovating an old house, you came across some wires, kind of what to look for, and at least temporary, now you can check your voltage, make sure that you don't have power going to it, and then put the wires up out of the way while you get someone that really knows what they're doing, or until you have time to get everything wrapped up and out of the way. So with that being said, I'm gonna head to either a hardware store or hopefully my shop and get a cover for that box right there, and that way my power situation's battened up good in here, and I don't have to worry about any people or animals licking wires. So all right guys, so we got our switch plates, or our cover plates there, and over here I changed my mind again. So I ended up just going up there with a junction box. So now I'm gonna be able to insulate, just tied this wire, got my strain relief up here, and then chink over it, but I'll have access to this porch light wire here in the future, so I can put new porch lights up here. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. I just want to show you a little bit about what you might run into with an old house wiring. It can be kind of crazy, but most important thing is that voltmeter. It's not an option. It's not something that's nice to have. Like, it really is a requirement. So make sure and check your voltages before you touch any wires. Turn off all your breakers and your power. Most importantly, if you even have the slightest doubt on what you're doing, go ahead and get an electrician. If I was going to rewire this whole house, I'd get an electrician. I'm good enough to run a little bit extra wiring, change the stuff out, but better be safe than sorry. and at a very minimum, have an electrician come double check your work before you batten everything up. So hope y'all enjoyed this video. Like, subscribe, and share, and we'll see y'all next time.